Greetings, denizens of the internet. It is I, your original angster, joined here by my new assistant. This is Scout. Say hello to the people, Scout. She likes looking out the window and barking at things that move. Yes, baby. So, before I tell the story, I'll tell you about her. I'm pretty sure she's between 2 and 3 years old. And I am like 90% positive that she's a pit border collie. Half pit bull, as you can see in the head, half border collie. Not just because of her markings, it's also just because she's really smart. She's got natural herding qualities. She's very, very attentive, as you can see. Oh. I love her. All right. Hey. Come on. All right. Well, good girl. It's going down. So today, I thought I would tell you about how this dog came into my life. It's a pretty ridiculous story. Yeah, hold on. Let me just actually combobulate myself for a moment. Right. Okay. So, okay. So there is a woman who I've seen around my neighborhood who I clocked as a trans woman, and so I introduced myself and we would just talk. And then one day she was like, do you have anything to eat? So I brought her back to my apartment. I fed her. Excuse me. And I said that she could come by whenever she needed something. And she has a few times. And just very pleasant. Definitely's got some stuff going on, you know. And then maybe 2 weeks ago, or at the beginning of the month, I'm leaving my apartment to go to 7-Eleven, and she is lying in the hallway. There's no there's no buzzer or lock. It's a shitty building with a shitty landlord. So she's lying in the hallway with a couple garbage bags full of her belongings and a dog. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And she was like, I got evicted. Okay. So I was like, well, okay, come in, charge your phone. I'll make you something to eat, and maybe I can help. So immediately, oh, is that the dog coming back? She's coming back. Good girl. What's wrong? Hold on, maybe there's something wrong. The dog, Scout, she growled at me when I approached, but tacitly approved of me after a sniff. I'm probably gonna slip up and use her name at some point, but it's not her legal name. I do not know what her legal name is. So the first thing, I'm like, they can't kick you out immediately if you've been evicted. And she was like, no, it was a long time ago. She wasn't, for reasons that will become apparent, she wasn't always answering the questions that I was asking in the way that I thought I had asked them. I don't know. So immediately I'm like, fuck. I don't know what to do. And I hated it, and I wanted to be alone. I wanted to work on my shit alone. So I came up, and I hate this. I came up with an excuse for her to leave. I called a friend and I was like, hey, can you come over so that we can have to go somewhere? And when that happened, she went back out in the hallway, and my friend left, and I was just sitting there alone thinking about it, and I just felt so shitty. It was like, wow, so am I only willing to help people in ways up until the point that helping them causes me any sort of discomfort or demands anything from me? And I just felt progressively worse about myself. So I called her, let her back in. And I'm a Google person, so I start Googling, and called, family and friends who might be able to help. And she was not calling anybody. So I called the emergency housing number and I gave her the phone. She wrote some things down. This is after a while, and so said that she'd found somewhere, and I should have checked the details. I didn't. I was just a little bit, you know, out of my element, I guess. Uh, Man, sorry. It's just okay. It's been a lot. So and so since she had a place to go in the morning, or so I thought, I said that she could stay the night. So she took a shower, I feed the dog because she had dog food, but she didn't really make any moves to take care of the dog. I think she had a lot on her mind. And at some point later in the evening, she's like, "Can my friend come over?" And I was like, why? And she's like, "Do you like meth?" And this is where I made a dumb decision. Cause I said that it was fine if they come over. I'm just gonna edit all this bit out because it's like, all right. So she goes out, meets this friend, and comes back and has been smoking meth, which is, whatever. But she then spent the hours between, I don't know, like 2 and 7 in the morning talking nonstop, and I can handle that. A lot of what she said was pretty funny, and a lot of it was very I liked a lot. And a good amount of it was nonsense. And but fortunately, I have a lot of experience hanging out with people in psychosis, so we had a fine conversation. I would interject every once in a while, and I wrote some of the stuff down because it was really very funny. This whole time, she was painting her face, and then painting her shoes, and then painting her face, and then putting makeup on while the paint was still wet, and then painting her shoes, and then putting makeup over the wet paint. It was a mess, but I painted too, and like I don't know, it was a nice time really. So I found her found us a ride to bring her to this shelter, which I thought was in Norfolk, but it turned out it was in Newport News, which is about 45 minutes away. So my really incredible friend drove us all the way there, and turns out it's a men's shelter. There is no corresponding women's shelter. And I thought, well, are they transphobic enough to let her in anyway? They were not. And the guy, it's bothered me. This guy behind the counter or whatever was like, "I'm gonna be honest with you. What you're wearing." And then he just picked up a little packet that was I guess their policy on trans. I don't know. Gave me the thing. So he came back to Norfolk, and I had found the address of a place called the Center, but I couldn't find a phone number, which was why I had ruled it out. But at this point, I haven't slept. I have work to do. I've put stuff. I'm already off my business schedule, and I have work to do. So we go there and we drop her off, and when she went in, she there's a gate and then there's a little lot. So she went in, and she went inside to talk to the people or whatever. I expected her to come back. There was a woman standing behind me who looked to me as though she worked there, who was like, I'm not okay with that. And I turned to her and was like, huh? And she points to Jada and does this, like, get her out of here. And, like, it wasn't just, like, she needs to go, but she really seemed to be telling me that I needed to do something about it. I needed to remove her. Oh, yes. Good girl. She's got her T-Rex. Also, obviously, the dog couldn't go. And I just said, I wasn't thinking straight. I said, like, I'm going to do everything I can to find a place for this dog to stay until you can take her back. I thought that well, that's the whole thing. She's a good girl. Anyway, so I asked this woman behind me, was like, is she going to get beat in there? Like, is she going to be safe? And the woman did not respond, and she wouldn't meet my eye. So that was kind of terrifying. I also haven't heard from her since. I called her phone a bunch of times, and like the next day, I got a call from that number, but when I answered, there was no one there. I spoke to her drag mother, who's the only person who I know who knows her, who seemed to feel that this was very normal for her, and that if she wasn't getting back to me, it was probably because she didn't want to talk to me. I mean, I would have filed a missing persons report, honestly, if I had known her name, even. But I'm pretty sure she just didn't want to deal with this dog. Or me, probably. I don't know. You're a good girl. So she said the dog's name was Layla. And then she said that or Beijing. The dog responded to neither name. And I was really happy to have a dog around, even temporarily. But she barked. She would bark at things outside. She would bark if there was a sound, on the other side of the door. And there are no dogs allowed in my building. Otherwise, I'd have one. So that was terrifying. Oh my God. Hold on. I don't even know if I can finish this today. So it's a couple days later, and I still haven't found a situation for this dog. So, and I did tell this person that I might have to do this. I brought her to the SPCA, the No Kill Shelter. And this bothered me so much, and I'm going to go into detail about this because it's. So I went in. I was, I need to surrender this dog, and I gave them the, a rundown of the story. She's not my dog, but this person, and I can't get back to her. I don't know where she is. She might not be okay. And they're like, well, she's not your dog. It's like, she's my dog now. Anyway, they wouldn't take her because, well, they said that they legally could not accept her because I had said that she wasn't my dog. And then they suggested that I bring her to Animal Care and Control, which is also in Norfolk. And without, reading the room, I was just like, I don't want to take her to a kill shelter. Another person behind the counter looks to be about 12. She must be a volunteer. And she looks up. The woman behind the counter assured me that it's not a kill shelter. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I brought a stray cat there once, and I called back to see how she was doing, and she'd been euthanized. She had caught a lung infection, and she'd been euthanized. And, like, she was like, do they not have a vet there? They don't have a vet there. And I was like, I don't know. All I know is that this cat was euthanized. So, yeah. A few days later, I brought her to Animal Care and Control. Anyway, but they said not only were they at capacity, but they said we don't have the resources to euthanize the dogs we have. And strays who are submitted to this city shelter and all city shelters that I know of are kept for 5 to 10 days and then euthanized to make room for more dogs. And that's not, I'm not saying anything against city shelters. I understand that it's, that's just how they have to do things. But I wasn't willing to anyway. Then I was really, really confused because I had thought that it would not be a problem to take her to at least a shelter. My parents agreed to let the dog stay with us, with them. Why am I doing this? Hold on. So it's about this time that I start posting on social media everywhere. I found like pit bull rescues. I joined them and posted there. Mostly I just posted on my own page and on the community mutual aid page that I made. Checked in with literally everybody I know in this town. I don't have friends here. I have bar friends, and I that's, bar friends are fun when you run into them at the bar, but they're not going to help you move, so, God, yeah, I don't want to do this for now. I'll get back to it. No, I'm not going to get back to it. I want to finish this. The next, and between then and now, which is a couple weeks, it's been just hellish, just, trying to find a situation for her, trying to run my own business from out of my parents' house, where, and, it's hard enough for me to do under normal circumstances. But, and eventually, the animal care and control shelter called me and they said that they were available to make an intake appointment on the 30th. And I made the appointment because, I figured I can cancel. And it's about this time that, I start to lose it a little bit. I've been having a hard time already, and I definitely started thinking, if this dog dies because of me, I don't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to be here anymore already. And I don't want to live in a world where nobody will help a dog. Just dramatic, sure. And, it just makes me sad about the world that, in my opinion, the litmus test to qualify as a human being is you help a dog that needs help. But no, I don't want to. Long story short, some people really helped. Some people really went to bat for her and for me. And also, this whole time, she's been incredible. She doesn't bark as much at my parents' house. She doesn't bark as much at all now that she's more comfortable. And she's the sweetest little girl. She sits, she stays, she's completely house trained. She knows drop it, she knows leave it. And we're working on no pull on the leash. She didn't seem to be leash trained, but we're doing really well with leash training. And I love training dogs so much, and I love being around dogs so much. And the cool thing about training dogs is if you're around a dog, every moment is a training opportunity or a bonding opportunity. And also just, she's the best thing that's happened to me so far this year. Maybe for a couple of years. And, I would have lost it completely if she hadn't been around. So, it doesn't take long for my dad to fall in love with her. He's a dog person. Um, and 2 days ago, my mom turned to me as though she was like giving me horrible news. Said, "Well, Luke, it's official. I'm in love with Scout." And my mom has never been a dog person. She's never been an animal person, really. So I really did not think that that was going to happen. I did not think that my mom was going to want the dog around. And part of it is that she, as always, was worried that she would be the one taking care of the dog. Which she hasn't had to lift a finger for Scout because I've been around and I love taking care of dogs. My dad, like, I mean, he loves her, but he's starting to need a lot more help too. Um, like remembering stuff and just getting through the day. So what I figure is going to happen is I'm just going to spend a lot more time here, just doing normal, like the normal everyday stuff with my dad, like shopping and stuff that we both need to do, and that way it'll be easier for him to do all the stuff, and it'll be easier for me because he has it, because he can drive. I'm also going to get my license finally back. And then I'll also take care of the dog and may or may not go home at the end of the day. I haven't slept in my apartment for a while. I was going to go tonight, but there's too much to do. Speaking of which, there's too much to do for me to keep making this video. All right? I love you. Bye.